Right. Welcome back. We hope we didn't keep you waiting too long. We had to do a little couch shuffle here, but that was to make room for Alex. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. That's good. I love the shirt, by the way. I don't know, like
thank you.
it's very festive. It's very spring, oriented. Yeah, that's great. There's still snow on the ground, but
I'm tired.
Exactly.
that's I know I'm so tired of the snow.
Preparing for spring.
Preparing for spring. Absolutely love it. But yeah, so I love testing grounds as much as the next bloke out there. Passionate, balance, lore, all these things. I just love our game, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we've talked about it before. You see the results of like dodge attacks and Yorm and the results of what comes from, good testing grounds and feedback. So I think it's time to talk about what's next, what's coming next, what to expect. So
we're going to have this testing grounds. We're going to do Lawbringer. So it's a big Lawbringer rework. And a small change to Nuxia's traps. I'll go into a little bit more detail afterwards. But basically, the idea is we want to make sure we do Nuxia right.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's a very complex character to rework. There's not a lot of moving parts. And so we're trying to figure out one thing about traps. We're going to get into it. But essentially, it's like we're trying to figure out, can we make traps work? And then that will help guide us in the future to have a much better rework down the line, right? We don't want to do like 3 testing grounds in a row and then whatever. So we're having one small change, but it's for the best. And I'd rather do it iteratively like this, so that we can go, okay, this works, and then we can confirm that our change works and our hunch works. We can go into it.
Nice.
But first, we're going to start with Lawbringer, right? So Alex, you're going to want to guide us through Lawbringer a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So first thing that we did is to look at the character's flow, because I know all you Lawbringer main out there probably don't like the flow. If you guys don't know, Lawbringer cannot chain lights together. That's all gone.
That's all.
Now,
Right?
light.
Oh.
Whoop.
So many lights.
Same thing. Top.
Freedom.
Freedom is
Right,
there.
and what's cool here, and like Vanessa can tell us about it, like we actually ended up doing new lights for that light chain, right?
Yes.
Yes, and it's pretty complicated working on older hero.
Yep.
Okay.
Whenever we change one of the initial heroes,
I'm always like, I want to work on the one because even the data is pretty old as well. So they were really designed in a way that it's hard to moving part is a bit harder.
we've gotten a lot better at it over the
Yeah,
years.
we're getting better at it for sure.
exactly.
So we got like unlocked chains, basically.
Exactly.
What else do we have?
You can press anything you want. You're gonna be doing your chain, and you're gonna be able to get to those finishers a bit better than before. Another thing that we did for the flow was to add combo lights after heavy. So if you press a light after a heavy, bop, you get a fast
Pop
light
up, that's the sound.
guaranteed,
Yeah.
and you can access your finisher much more easily.
Talk
Yeah.
to Carl.
Basically, what it is like I think every one of like those lights are only on the opener heavies, right? And on top heavy finisher. If I remember correctly.
Exactly.
Right.
It was just on top heavy finishers before, which didn't really make sense. So we were like, let's reshuffle it, putting it on the opener. Oh, that works super well for the flow. But then we missed it on the top heavy finisher. So we did. Why don't we keep it? Let's just keep it as a way to reset the flow, and then you can keep chaining if you finish into that. That top
because
finisher.
I find what's like Lawbringer really shines with his finishers, right? Like big, like unblockable attacks, crazy things, big damage and everything. But then it's so hard to get to them in a lot of situations that at least with this, you have way more opportunities to get to them, which is
exactly. And like as for most heroes, unfortunately, it's kind of like most of the time you will want to do your side finishers just because you can clip people in group fights. So you're like, that's an extra way to make you want to do the top heavy finisher. Then the other thing that we did, that we're like not done with the flow.
Not done with the flow.
We got to make it even better. So we took a look at the bash in the chain. As you see, it's a new animation. So shout out to Michel for doing all of those animations. I heard that those transitions were quite a piece of work.
Yeah.
Difficult.
Exactly. So now the bash is slower, but you can find it. So either you go, bam, you get to your light, finisher, bang, shalang, feint. Like, you can do basically whatever you want. You're just gonna.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Terrifying.
That's super cool. Like honestly, I find that like the flow that we have there with Lawbringer is so much better, and having that bash and chains look different, right? So we wanted it to look different so that you don't feel it's the exact same one that you do off a front dodge, that's a
Exactly.
side dodge.
You gotta
But at the
notice
same,
that it's a
yeah,
different
you
move,
get
basically.
you really do feel it's a different attack, and because it's feintable, again, it brings in that whole mindset that we have of adding more flow. Not necessarily adding undodgeables. Like I know people are kind of tired of the orange-blue mix-up type of thing.
Right.
We're trying to do things a little bit differently. We saw with Valkyrie where we did something completely different. With this, we're going back to something that we know is proven and works. But at the same time, like heavy feint to guard break or heavy feint to parry, Lawbringer is a parry machine still.
Right.
So you still want to get parries off a Lawbringer, or you want to get guard breaks, because now if you do get a guard break, guess what? You get a heavy that combos into that combo light that goes back into your finishers. So it's always trying to go forward in the hero's chain and really have that flow go really, really nuts.
Wow.
Exactly.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
So is that it for flow?
I think so, yeah.
All right. So what else do we have in the pipe for this hero?
We can take a look at long arm next, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at long arm
Alright.
then.
So for long arm, there's something kind of weird on live where if you do a long arm and you attack, if you don't keep chaining, you get guard broken. Now we tweak the timing a little bit more, and now you're basically always safe. So bam, I can counter guard break.
Yeah.
I'm safe throwing that move. So it's still the same move otherwise, same startup. Can't feint it. It's a dedicated move for ganging up on someone,
Yeah.
basically. And we felt like we gave quite some good openers to Lawbringer, so maybe it's fine that this move is not one of the openers.
Yeah. One of the things that we've done recently, right, in live, is speed up the front dodge bash, and with the actual timings to the side attack when you dodge, it actually gives like a really nice mix up there off a front dodge without adding like a dodge attack on top of that or whatever. So it works really, really well, and I think that's it. That long arm being more of a dedicated, almost like ganking tool, guarantees you damage. If you land in a 1v1, then you're not, because it used to be so bad. If you land in a 1v1, you had to overcommit to get any damage out of it. And so with this, it feels a lot better.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to talk about Impale next?
Yes, Impale next. So for those who don't know, Impale is the sprint attack or the parry into side heavy.
Right, yeah.
So what we did for Impale, the move is quite good on live.
Yeah, it's really good.
It leads to a lot of damage,
Yeah.
which is kind of incredible for a heavy parry. So what did we do? We're like, okay, we're just gonna follow the rules. It's gonna be an opener now. If you reach the wall, bam, so you can go into your chain. But the chain attack now deals 20 damage. So basically what we're saying is you get your heavy parries on the side, you do your Impale if you want to ledge them, or if there's a wall, it's pretty good as well. But we don't want you to be doing it all the time, basically.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's another change too, like if you release a bit earlier. Like let's get off wall.
yeah, exactly. Now, if you do get it a bit earlier, before, oh yeah, release, no wall stumble.
Yeah.
So back on live before, you would wall splat, get your top heavy end, get the stun. It was really frustrating on the receiving end.
Yeah.
So now we changed this a little bit. It's still good because you still wall splat someone, you go into your second heavy,
Yeah.
and then you get that super strong finisher
mix
mix
up
up.
after, right? Yeah, but this here is really a case of like if you're gonna use it, like you really have to wall splat and hit the wall with it, because before you could, let's say, release it a bit earlier, it's still super strong. You can still ledge people with it. You can still do all that stuff with it. You still get one-shot kills if you're really lucky and you manage to ledge somebody or put them into a trap or whatever. But at the same time, these do not happen anymore if you release early. So you don't travel for as far with this. So there's a lot of changes here that make a lot of sense, where we had to change that aspect of Lawbringer a little bit, because he still is a parry specialist, still has a lot of different things on parry, but not going overboard with this at this moment.
Right.
Exactly.
Uh,
So talking about parry,
Yeah.
go into the nice quality of life change.
Yes.
So we took a look at all of the parries. So what we did is now the light parries are doing a bit more damage than before. Because before it was pretty low, so you would never really want to do them. And then going to your finisher. Also, the top heavy now is also a chain opener. So you can combo. So if you do get a light parry, that's probably that super strong option that you want to be doing.
I'm gonna
You
spare you.
stun them.
Do a light parry here, but
Just take our word for it.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Right? So it's still guaranteed off a light parry. It's just like right now, this is super scary, right? Because you get an attack that stuns into a combo into a big unblockable afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still super scary. I think it's the only source of stun that we have left on Lawbringer as well.
Yes, exactly. That was another frustrating part with the character. Every single top heavy would stun, and the light parry would stun as well. So basically, you're just fighting and you don't see anything. Like you just what is going on. So all of this is gone, but we decided that it was still kind of an iconic part of hitting someone on the head with a hammer. So
That's fair. That's
we keep it on the top heavy parry. Yeah. So basically now, whenever you parry someone, you're not always going for that impale. You have to have some situational awareness. Is there walls? Is there ledge? Do I want to go for the light? Am I in a group fight? Am I going for that big opener if I get a light parry? So you get a lot more choice than before.
Options, I think, is what we talked about. With
That's
Yarn,
the
right?
thing,
Yeah.
right? It's
more
always
options.
We always want to push more towards options for player agency. Towards, well, there's not one absolute best follow up every single time to every single situation. Now, like we want to make sure that you have a bit of choice. If there's no ledge nowhere, before you would still try to do it because you could release early, maybe get lucky, hit something or whatever. But now, like you really want to okay, I'm going to do my light instead because it leads me to other things. If I got a light parry, I'm always going to do a top heavy. So you kind of get into a situation where, well, depending on what's going on around you, depending on what's happening, you get different options, and you get to choose which one is best for which situation you're in at the moment.
Nice.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. So then we have a bit of quality of life stuff, right?
Yes, exactly. So we decided to take a look at the chaining properties because we want you to be doing your strong chains with the Lawbringer. And since he's a parry specialist, like he's good in group fights, we took a look and say, you know what? Let's just do increasing properties on the chain. So now, if you want, you can go into your chain heavy, and as you see, there's armor on it. So that's pretty good. And then the last one, it's armor plus unblockable. Oh no, wait. Boom.
Right? Yeah. So it's basically
Exactly.
super hard to peel, right?
Yes.
That's the idea here. It's like we want to make sure that because often enough, one of the problems that we have is that the second attack when we have 3 hit chains, and I know a lot of players actually I often read like people wanted to like reworks or whatever, and you go, oh yeah, let's give this hero like a 4 hit chain or a 3 hit chain instead of a 2 hit chain, and it is fun, right? Like nobody denies that it's super cool to have like multiple hits in your chain, but at the same time, the middle hits often feel really, really, really bad.
Right.
Because we need to have properties, we need to have like reasons to use them. That's why often we have like shortcuts to finishers or things like that. So by having armor, at least on those on those second heavies, what's interesting here is that you can actually use Lawbringer in group fights, use those big pole arm trajectories, and keep using those heavies, target switching and doing all that sort of stuff with less chance of getting peeled. People can still bash you, of course, but you still get like in those situations where it's a lot easier to use those attack, and they actually have a much more interesting purpose than what they used to have, which was nothing. And then, well, it just felt bad. You landed a heavy, like, oh, well, I got to do a bash, because if I don't do a bash, then where am I going to go? What am I going to do?
Right.
So you didn't really have that option. So now, again, it's about expanding those options and making sure that people have access to more things with the heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So now you have all of those cool properties.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, oh no, he's so strong at offense. I'm going to do some dodge attack. Oh no, he's a parry specialist.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So then one last thing we did, right?
Yeah.
Enhanced lights.
Yes.
Right.
So yeah.
You want to talk about it? I'm going to go over it a little bit. Yeah.
Sure.
So essentially, the hero has like on live right now, Lawbringer has enhanced lights.
Only on the side.
Only on the sides, right?
Yeah.
And so with the way that the hero has like ways to open up opponents now, I'm really bad at blocking when I'm talking. But yeah, so the way the hero was like beforehand was, well, he didn't really have openers before we did that change.
Yeah.
And so we had enhanced lights on the sides to make sure that, yeah, okay, where can we go? And then the more we played with it, the more we went through it, the more we're like, you know what? We don't think he needs them anymore.
Yeah.
So we removed them in the testing grounds, see how it feels, see how it goes, and then again we'll get a lot of feedback. We'll see how that goes. We also, I think, at some point we tried a bunch of different things, and This one felt like the most natural, right? You have a good opener. You can use long arm to potentially like mess up people. It works really well. You have like
Now you have
good
light as
You have
well.
light as well. So we really try to open it up, but at some point we don't want things to feel overly oppressive and overly dangerous. So we're trying to. Sometimes we have to do like little adjustments on the downside like this. Same for the chain heavy, for example, that deals a little bit less damage because it's what's guaranteed when you wall splat somebody. We want to give it like like a follow up there that made sense. And we didn't want to go like overly nuts on animation. It's a super challenging aspect to do.
Yes, of course.
When you manage to land a wall splat and getting
Yes.
dedicated stuff there, it's very, very complex.
Yes.
So we're trying this out, see how that goes, and then have something really good there.
Great.
Then we have one final change, which we took a look at the zone attack.
Ah, yes.
So if the players don't know, Lawbringer has quite a spicy zone attack on
Yeah,
live.
yeah, yeah.
It's slow, but it has a very, very good trajectory, and it has
Almost no recovery.
no recovery.
Yeah.
So you're basically throwing that move, and you're super safe. It's even to the point where like you're hitting some superior blocks, and like you're able to parry the
Yeah.
follow-ups and
Oh.
stuff like it. So it's quite spicy.
I've seen a lot of compilation videos doing that.
Yes, so what we did is we took a look at it. We're like, okay, so this is like the big keep away move, like stay away from me. I'm doing my huge sweep, but then we just made the recoveries normal, but it felt quite bad because it was just a nerf. So we're like, you know what? It's a group fight move. Let's allow it to go into the chain.
Oh.
So you get access to like those armor move, and you're light if you want to.
Crazy. So just a new way
Yeah.
to get into the chain.
Exactly.
Right.
Nice.
So
Yep.
yeah, so new chain and new ways to enter your chains, but slight nerf, right? Because if you don't chain,
Yeah. Then
I get a dodge attack free on
Exactly.
it, right? So that's the big thing here. Like it's slightly lower safety, but you can chain. And then as we saw here, if you do it again, I'm gonna do a dodge attack and I hit the armor there. So
Oh.
you still gotta be careful.
Exactly.
It's still dangerous, right? That's,
It's still spicy, just a little bit.
yeah,
a
just a
less
little bit spicy, right?
Okay.
So I think that's about it for Lawbringer,
yeah, that's pretty much it.
right? So
Lots
it's-
of stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
Yeah.
So I
A lot.
can't wait for people to try it out. And then I'm going to go over Nuxia a little bit. So, I want to make sure that people understand it's a step-by-step process. We want to do Nuxia right. We did Yorm. We took our time with Yorm. We're still taking our time with Nuxia. And one of the big questions we had with Nuxia, internally, and a hunch that we had was, do our traps work? And we've been debating a lot internally about them. And yeah, what do we do? Do we remove them, convert them into something else or whatever?
Right.
But at the end of the day, traps are what Nuxia's identity is about, right? She's the only one with that mechanic. It's super cool. It looks
Yeah.
great.
Looks amazing. Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a lot of situations where, like especially at high level, players try to like emote out of it, throw lights to beat those trap attempts. If you don't have superior block lights, for example, like if sometimes Nuxia just throws out a heavy and you just do like, and then you can kind of read, you can react to the trap animation. So it becomes like a bit tricky. So what we ended up doing is to see if traps can work. We've adjusted them so that they come out 100 ms later. So I'm gonna do it. I don't know if people are gonna be able to see it because it's very, very
Yeah.
subtle.
subtle.
Yeah.
But the traps, like instead of, because normally they would come out like you would do like your heavy and soft into guard break, they would come out at the exact same time as the feint. Now they come out 100 ms later than the feint.
Yeah.
So they should be, in paper at least, from what we've been doing, they should be fully unreactable. And so if this ends up working, and we're hoping that players are gonna be able to test it out more, we know we have like some insane reaction monsters that are playing the game that are able to react to this like consistently. So if these players are not able to do it, if this works out, it means that we can actually
Use them.
use them and rework Nuxia in a way that keeps her trapped.
Exactly.
If they don't work, then we have to start opening up other avenues. And that's why this might seem like a very, very small change for this.
Yeah.
I know people are hyped for Nuxia rework, but I'm certain that you'd rather we take our time to do Nuxia right and to do the right things and keep what is unique to Nuxia
Yeah.
rather than just going, well, we're just going to remove it and do something else and, the end.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's going
no.
to take a little bit longer than probably some people think. They go, oh, yeah, this season, next season, whatever. But at the same time, with this, it's a step forward.
Yeah, exactly.
If this works, nothing tells us we can't push this live before we push a Nuxia rework live.
Sure,
Well,
sure.
right? So that's the thing here.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Is traps is unique to her. No one else has that. So,
It's so different, right?
like
so-
we need to make sure that it works.
Yeah.
Uh,
So let me throw it out now, so you can see like the indicator. Like if you can see it, it almost just flashes very, very, very quickly. So it should be borderline impossible to react to. The attack itself is also 100 ms shorter, so that it still lands on the same timing and stuff, but reacting to it should be a lot more difficult. And so the thing is, you can still dodge, you can still do stuff like you could normally do, right? But then if you dodge, I can feint,
Yeah.
I can parry, I can do feint to a guard break, whatever. So that's kind of like the point here, is really testing that aspect out, making sure we nail it. And then once we have the answer to that specific question, how do we shape what's going around Nuxia here?
So that's why the feedback for this TG will be
Is
very
extremely
important.
important.
Yes.
Even though it seems like I said, a super tiny change, whatever.
No, it's the entry point for
Yeah, that's it. It's
the
entry
future
point,
of her.
right? So,
her
like I
program.
said, I'd rather we do this on a case-by-case basis, take our time, do it right, and get it to work instead of just shipping a rework that might be underwhelming. And go, oh yeah, people, we remove traps, and then, well, yeah, but we had to or whatever. So now we're testing it out. Does that work? Does that not work? And where do we go from here?
Gotcha.
I think that's it for testing grounds. When did you
That's-
run again?
When do they run again, Vanessa?
They run April 6th to April 13, I think.
Yeah.
That was great. I was
Yeah,
going to say March 16th because it's stuck in my head.
Yeah.
April 6th to April. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
and so one thing I want to stress also is I know some players, like when we do testing grounds, they tend to want to wait until the end to give their feedback.
Yeah.
Because they want to give the best feedback possible.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
However, the way our schedule works sometimes is very tight. You know this better than anybody else.
I do a lot of calendar stuff.
Right?
Yeah, I know,
So-
yeah.
It's better for us if we have feedback the first day, the first weekend, and then that feedback evolves over time, but we get that initial piece of feedback super
Yeah.
early.
It's also good to see the evolution of the feedback as
right?
well. 'cause,
So,
yeah.
but do not hesitate to give us your feedback day one,
Yeah.
first weekend, whatever. And then if it changes over time, please go back on Reddit,
Yeah.
go do whatever you want, talk
Yeah.
about it more. It's totally fine. But we'd rather have it like evolve over time than just at the end.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time we need to act really fast if we want to get stuff in game early enough.
Exactly.
And it can be really difficult.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that things are progressing in the right
Mhm.
mindset. And yeah, if your opinion changes, it's fine. You can
Mhm.
you can put stuff in the survey. You can do whatever you want. It's totally okay. But even if your initial reaction is, "Oh, I really love this," or "I really hate this," I don't care.
Just let us know.
Just
let
let
us
us
know.
know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Not going to hurt
early,
our feelings. Yeah.
And then that's it. If your feelings change, you can change them over time.
Gives us more time to react to it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. All right.
So I think, yeah,
That's-
that's it for testing.
Yeah,
ground.
that's incredible. So yeah, so thank you both very much, Alex. All the changes to Lawbringer are looking really great. Very cool. Just an entire suit of armor encasing all the justice in for honor. So again, he's going to bring justice to the injustice of this season. So I love it. See, we're going to keep tying it back to everybody. It's going to all come back to the theme of the season.
And I want to
Yeah.
just close out quick
Yeah.
on giving like massive props to the fight team, the animation team, like the narrative team, like the sound team, VFX guys. We've been working super hard, right? There's a lot of stuff coming in every single TU, every single season, and it's a massive group effort. And it wouldn't be possible without everybody's input. Like Alex was in charge of the Lawbringer rework, but we're all working together on it.
Right.
Of course.
But
Everyone's
Alex was in charge
testing
of it. Noelle was in charge of the Jormungandr rework. Worked super awesome. Somebody that's a bit newer on our team, Costa, was in charge of the dodge stuff as well. Worked really, really well. So there's a lot of things that are happening that people are working on. We're not the biggest team in the universe, but we're the best team in the universe.
Yes,
That's
that's
the
good.
important part.
There it
There
is.
you go.
So like big props to everybody.
Love
Every department we have on For Honor. It's a very special project. It's special to all of our
Oh,
hearts.
yeah.
Like it's a unique game. I love fighting games myself. It's something that's really, really big, and I'm really, really happy that we're able to work on something so unique, year 7. Who would have thought year 1
Seriously.
that this would reach year
Seriously,
7?
I know.
It's crazy. So I'm super thankful.
That's great.
And let's run it for as long as we can.
Heck yeah, there we go. Awesome. Thank you so much. Couldn't have said it better myself. So again, everybody, April 6th through the 13th. Don't sleep on this one. Again, don't sleep on the Nuxia thing. We need the feedback.
Yep.
Lawbringer, a lot of fun stuff there. So keep an eye out for it. We're looking forward to it. Thank you again, JC. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
And stick around too. We're gonna wrap things up. We got a bit more content to share with everybody. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right. Thanks.